Shalom everyone, I'm going to continue the fantastic series, friends, of the daily page of the Daf Yomi. We're Masechet Shevuot, Daf Yud Aleph, page number 11. What a better place to be than here in Machon Lev, Yeshivat Machon Lev, Jerusalem College of Technology over here, to share over some fabulous words within regards to the daily page of the Gemara. Now friends, what we're talking about, very interesting today, very actually academic topic. We learned about in the previous page of the Gemara that Rabbah repeated the teaching of great Rabbi Yochanan, that animals that were set aside to be used as timidim, these were daily offerings in the Bet HaMikdash, that were not sacrificed, can be redeemed even though they remain unblemished. Because ordinarily, an animal that had been set aside to be used as sacrifice could only be redeemed in the event that it developed a blemish that would keep it from being brought on altar. Now, Rav Hista objected to this, let's say, saying, and says, who will listen to you and to Rav Yochanan, your teacher? Where did the animal's holiness disappear to? That will be the question. So on today's page, let's say, of the Gemara, Rabbah replies to Rav Hista, explaining that when these animals are purchased, let's just say, we could say in of itself, Lev Bet Din will be the terminology that it's actually using. Lev Bet Din Matne Alehem. Bet Din has it in its heart that they are brought on the condition that if they are needed, they will be used as sacrifices, korbanot, on the altar. But if they are not needed, then they will be treated like any standard donation to the Bet HaMikdash, and their value will be consecrated, but their bodies will not. Now there's a similar law brought in the Gemara, where we find that the Ketoret, the incense offering, will only become, let's say, fully consecrated after it had been ready for sacrifice in a Kli Sheret, a utensil sacrifice for use in the Bet HaMikdash. But otherwise, the laws, let's say, limiting its use do not apply. Here too, the Gemara asks, where did the holiness disappear to? So in response, the Gemara responds that the Ketoret was unique because it lasts, let's just say, for an entire lengthy period of time, for an entire year respectively. Now it's interesting, Rabbi Hananel is going to explain this answer by pointing out that the large amount of incense for the Ketoret was prepared at the beginning of the year. He would say, at that time, the holiness remains only in the value of the ingredients. The Ketoret, let's just say, does not get its essential holiness until it's actually placed in the Kli Sharet and ready for actual use. You know, it's actually interesting, we're speaking about this because my son is learning in the Mishnayot at the moment, these various different topics he was learning about. And because he's learning the Parsha in school, so we had a lot of diagrams of the Ketoret and the Kli Sharet, which me and him were revising over yesterday on Shabbat, while we're doing something called the Daf Kesher, where we revise over what they learned during the week. But thank God he did pretty well. Wishing all a fantastic day, friends. Rav Adin Steinsaltz.